Greetings, welcome back to Pink Oddbird. Today I'm here with a flip through of a post-apocalyptic signature, so let's go ahead and take a look. Today I'm doing a little flip through of this signature, and it's only a signature because some of my friends and I are doing a little thing where we each pick our own theme, and then we send out signatures to one person who binds the book all together and then sends that book to the recipient for that quarter, because I think it's a quarterly thing. So I'm just here to share that with you. And I know that was a really brief and vague description, but that's the gist of it. And I just want to get through this kind of quickly. Even though it's one signature only, it's kind of it's kind of chunky on its own. The first book that is getting made is one for my buddy Kim, who's Serene Bookworks, and she chose the theme Gothic fantasy. And so that's really an interpretive kind of theme. So what I decided to do was go with a sort of scientific steampunk Gothic fantasy type of feel, something that's kind of post-apocalyptic, something along the lines of Mad Max. That kind of should put it in perspective for you for what I went with on this. So there's tons of black soot and sprays, and it's all in my nails and everything, but that's okay because you guys know how it is when we do all this. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. For the signatures, I did about 10 pages, and I used a lot of stuff from some of my friends' happy mail that they've sent me, which was perfect for this. So, all right, here we go. So to get started with, we have this little guy in his gas mask, and I was going to put a word up here, but I thought that I would leave it for her in case she might want to put her own special word there. And then just some imagery. And then there are 4 of these mixed media tags in the book. And there's a lot going on with these, but I'll try and just get it kind of close so you can see. But I did use like crackle paint on them. There's a book page in there that you can't even see anymore. I stitched on some metal pieces. There's a rusty domino, and there's some lace under here. There's texture paste even. Let's see, down here, a couple more metal pieces, and then this is a wooden key, but I just rusted it. And I did these on watercolor paper. And of course, as you saw, that one says the residue of the planet. This little piece opens up, and inside of here, you probably can't see this, and it's hard for me to pick this up because it's not sewn in, but on this little book page here it says Speakers of the Dead, and then in the 2 little pockets I have these 2 little braille pieces, and I put these in as sort of a little nod to Book of Eli. So if you've seen that, then you know why I put those in there. And then I had this big black sort of see-through folder that you kind of like put papers in and file away, kind of like a paper protector folder, if that makes sense. And I didn't know how to use it, but I wanted to use it for this book. So I thought that it would be neat to make some tags that are encased, because you want to preserve your notes in the post-apocalyptic era. And so she can still actually use these on the backs. She can just write with a Sharpie pen and it'll stay permanent on here. So that's what I did. And then there are 6 of these tags in here, and each of them is going to have some kind of a little cog up at the top to give it that sort of steampunk vibe. So I put a map page in here because I felt like in that post-apocalyptic time, there's not really going to be technology. So you kind of have to, know how to use a map. And then just some tags I have in this little snakeskin fabric pocket. So here's another one of those little encased tags. And you can see what I mean here with the cogs on the top. It's a tuck spot. This is just wrapped around from what's on the other side. And then inside of there, we've got this little crazy creature who says, "Get out of here" on the fence. And another encased tag. What I did here was, instead of making like a Franken tag or Franken page, I made a Franken tip-in. So it's a bunch of different types and materials of fabric that I sewed together to make a Franken tip-in. There you go. So just a little piece here. I obviously did a lot of spraying in this book to make it really grungy. We have this little tag here. There's 4 charms in the book. So here is the first, just 2 little black beads around there. And then this one, I have like a little square piece with a little metal piece on there as well. So here is the second of those tags, and this one says, stare into the face of death. And then I'll just kind of run this along so you can see the different textures and stuff in this tag. These took a really long time to do, like a super long time. But I think in the end it's kind of worth it because they definitely give that vibe for the book. So a little piece of fabric here. Of course, I have the little biohazard stuff in here as well. There's the center. A couple more tags. Here is the third, and I love this paper clip that I did here. I had a little piece of chain and I wanted it to have that sort of salvaged look. So what I did here is I just put some beads around it, and in the center there's just a little bit of chain in here just to give it that kind of found and salvaged look. So I thought that was a neat approach to doing something like that in this book. So here is the tag. It says The Rotten Night Air. When you see it in person, you can actually pick up a lot more of the dimensions and textures in here. This paper came from Janine, but it's already so magically grunged up. So I didn't do anything to that. This flips out. It's a top-loading tuck. So in this pocket here, I used some see-through fabric, and I tore up some like tickets that are, I think these are Tim Holtz, but they're like tickets. One's plain and one is boat, and I just tore them up and stuck them inside of this little see-through fabric so that it might seem like somebody sabotaged an opportunity for you to be able to get away from everything, if that was even a possibility. So there's another tag. Just a little fabric cluster here. This is empty, she can put something in. So on this page I did a little piece of faux leather, and I used eyelets to attach it all so it gives it that rough and grungy feel, which I think it also adds some neat interest to this side of the page. But it's a tuck spot, and then we have this little skull guy in here. And on this tag we have the dead will walk the earth, and this is what the tag looks like. Very grungy. And I thought this should go here because it has the dead will walk the earth, and then we have this little dead guy here, and then it's got different little maps. So I thought that was pretty perfect. There's the 4th charm. There's my stamp. And I was just staining some white fabric that I had, but when it was like drying, in the drying phases, it started to look like camo, so I thought it was really perfect to go in here. And this is the back. And that is it. So that's my post-apocalyptic Gothic fantasy steampunk science signature. And Kim, I hope you love this. Priscilla is the one who's going to be in charge of binding this book all together, so good luck with this one. And I appreciate you for doing that, and I appreciate you all for being here to watch this with me. So that is going to wrap it up for me for now. Be sure to stay tuned because you never know what direction this odd flock of ours is heading into. And until next time, toodaloo.